respective teams, but as Buck Showalter said, they'll play like the 27 Yankees against us. For the Orioles, a look for a win in Game 1 of 3 against the Astros and a little celebration on the field. Let's see if they get it. It's the Orioles on Masson, and for the O's here at home, it continues against the Houston Astros as they meet for the second series this season. The Orioles in Houston took 2 out of the 3 games that were played there. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome to the ballpark as the Orioles look to pick up some wins after a tough series against the Red Sox, losing 2 out of 3. Obviously, those division games, very important, but you cannot look past a team like Houston. For the Orioles, some of the bats have been quiet of late. One of those who's tried to pick up some of that slack has been the Orioles' leadoff hitter, left fielder Nate McLouth. And here in July, since the All-Star break, Nate has played exceedingly well. In the 10 games since the break, hitting .361, 3 doubles, 3 triples, on-base percentage at .425, and an OPS now that's over that 1 mark. That's outstanding. He's had 6 multi-hit games during that 10-game span. That is the most in the American League. And Mike Bordick for McLouth continues to be one of the really fine pickups that the Orioles have made over the last few years.
Oh, he's been great. He's been great for the Orioles. He's a great character guy. He works hard. He just got awarded the Heart and Hustle Award, or at least nominated for the Heart and Hustle Award. So that tells you a lot about what he's all about. But I'll tell you what, one of the unsung heroes for the Orioles that first half of the season, kind of overshadowed by Chris Davis and Manny Machado's numbers. He was a consistent table setter for them through the first half, and it's great to see him getting off to such a hot start here in the second half after the All-Star break. I mean, he's continued to stay consistent for these guys. He's on base a lot. All we need to do is get the other guys to heat up a little bit and drive him in.
And that's what the Orioles want to do here in this series. We await the trade deadline, which will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock. There have been some deals struck already this month that certainly are going to affect what goes on. July 29, the Tigers getting what they needed from these Astros. Jose Veras, the Astros getting a youngster, Vasquez, who's an outfielder with some potential, only 19 years old. July 26, the Yankees and the Cubs, the big deal. Alfonso Soriano, of course, coming back big in that game where Jeter had a home run on the first pitch. Soriano got the game-winning RBI. The Cubs getting Corey Black. And on the 22nd, the Rangers getting Matt Garza. A lot of rumors about Garza before the deal. O's, of course, acquired Scott Feldman, and there's probably more to come.
Yeah, you think so. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of sellers out there right now. I think with the loss of Pujols over there at the Angels going on the disabled list, I think they've automatically become sellers too. And teams that have are in the playoff contention here, they're going to be aggressive, try to bolster their teams. And I think the Orioles are one of those teams in a good position where they could help, I think, in the pitching department.
We'll see whether or not anything happens during our ball game tonight. Keep an eye on the wire as far as any deals that are announced. Coming up next, Game 1, it's the Astros and the O's. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback. Just a gorgeous day and an even prettier evening here weather-wise. Take a look at our train game time temperature. We're at 83 degrees under mostly clear skies. Very little breeze blowing here tonight. Humidity's down. Train celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Starting lineup for the Astros. It will be Villar in the leadoff spot. Altuve, Castro, and Carter. Maxwell. Corporan is going to be doing the catching in this game. They rotate that position. Barnes, Dominguez, and Grossman for Altuve this season. He's put up some good numbers for a ball club that struggled.
And here is the Lowe's scouting report. Never stop improving. Wei-Yin Chen staying consistent. Oh, yes, he has. Played since Chen's returned from the DL. He certainly helped stabilize both the rotation and the bullpen. In his 3 starts, he's 2-0 with a 2.18 earned run average, and he's averaging 6 2/3 innings pitched, and it's all because he's been able to locate his fastball. He throws it almost 70% of the time, and he's been outstanding with the ability to locate to both sides of the plate, and he has been bearing down. When Chen has runners on base, he's holding opponents to a 170 batting average. 11 starts this year for Wei-Yin, 5-3 on the year. Look at that nice low earned run average at 2.78. Opponent batting average at 251. Lefties just 197, and righties at 272.
And we are ready to go. And Jonathan Villar in the leadoff spot will take the pitch for a ball. Hitting .269 this season. Villar did not play against the Orioles in that series in Houston. They have continued to change not only the lineup but the roster as they've made continuing moves for Bo Porter, the 40-year-old, the youngest manager in the majors in his first year with Houston. 1-1 delivery on the way. Chen's breaking ball will be in there for a strike. So Villar, Orioles going to look at him for the first time. Bo Porter, their manager, and for a young manager, he's had to go through a lot in the first year with personnel changes.
He sure has, and the Astros have had to make some changes. A lot of the veterans they've designated for assignment. Taking a look at some of the younger players they have in the organization, they are certainly a team in the rebuilding phase.
Villar will foul that one away. For Wei-Yin Chen, he'll try and keep that record perfect here at home, where he's 2-0 with that magnificent 1.86 ERA here at Camden Yards. Historically for him, in 20 career home starts, he's 8-6 with a 3.75 ERA here in this ballpark. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that'll be up high. That one just got away from him, and the count goes to 3-2. Chen, 27 years old, has never faced the Astros before. Coming off a game at Kansas City, non-decision, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits, and 7 1/3 innings. And that is there for a strike, and Villar's gone.
Well, there it is. That's what Wei-Yin Chen is all about, locating his fastball. Nissan Pitch Track will show you right here. This fastball is just dotted on the inside corner at 91 miles an hour. Great release, consistent delivery from Wei-Yin Chen. Good look at the slow-mo, the rotation on his fastball. Just freezes up Villar.
So he gets the first out, and working to Altuve. Altuve, you see the 284 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's got speed. Gets on base, can run. That is one thing this team can and will do if they get the opportunity. Problem has been getting on base.
Yeah, exactly. They are an aggressive team when they have guys on base. Villar can run. Altuve certainly can run.
Pitch taken away.
Getting them on there. They seem to have run into outs, though, on the bases. They're sometimes over-aggressive,
Yeah.
so a young team trying to learn when to pick and choose proper moments to steal bases.
Chen with a 1-2, and the delivery to him will be chopped to short. Hardy is there. Makes the play over to first base. Altuve is out.
Take a look at the defense behind Wei-Yin Chen tonight. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis once again in the outfield with Hardy and Roberts up the middle. Ryan Flaherty getting the start at first base with Chris Davis DHing, Machado over at third, and Matt Wieters behind the plate.
This is just the 5th career start at first base for Flaherty. He's been working out, though. In Kansas City, he came out every day and was taking ground balls at first base in order to get ready. And the delivery will be in the air to center field. Jones off the bat of Castro will get back there and haul it in. So a real solid inning. Only 13 pitches thrown by Chen. Retires the side in order. We'll take a look at the O's lineup when we come back. My guess is yes. And as for the kid, probably the kid's having a good time too. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles. McLeod, Machado, and Marquez, Jones, Davis, and Wieters, Hardy, Flaherty, and Roberts. Nick, this season at home, right at the 300 average.
And here's a low scouting report for Lucas Harrell tonight. He's rejoining the rotation. He made 19 starts for the Astros, but he got moved to the bullpen. And with Bud Norris being scratched because of a potential trade, Harrell gets the start. He is grounded. It's over 50% of his outs on the ground. Hit or miss, though, with him. 10 starts, he's given up 1 run or less. The other 9, 49 earned runs. That's why he got moved to the bullpen. You see his game started 23, 5.17 earned run average.
Nate McLeod leading it off for the Orioles. A real fine start for Lucas Harrell against the Orioles, and the only time he has faced them, that came in the series in Houston. He would take the loss in the game, but he pitched really well in that ball game. So we'll see whether or not, as Mike said, the Harrell we see is the one the Orioles saw in that game, or the one who has had ball games in which he has struggled enormously. He gave up only 2 runs on 5 hits in 7 innings in that ball game back on June 4. That is fouled away by Nate McLeod. No announcement on a deal regarding Norris, whose name has been bandied about as much as any pitcher, along with Garza. He was supposed to start tonight. The Orioles get a break, in a sense, by the numbers. And McLeod, that will be a strikeout, tag put on. Kaporan, it's a foul ball. Kaporan thought he had him. The home plate umpire said no. Dan Iasonia said that was a foul ball.
Yeah, Nate McLeod kind of hung his ground in the box. Pretty good breaking ball here from Harrell. And Nate McLeod, he must have sold it pretty well.
Never touched it.
Didn't look like he got that one.
So he gets a break here and keeps the at-bat alive. And the pitch will be taken up and in. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Norris, in fact, was mentioned among those who might be traded to the Orioles. And some wondered whether he'd be walking from one clubhouse to the other before this game started. That has not happened. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. That'll go to second base. Ranging on the outfield grass, Altuve makes a real nice play. McLeod retired, 1 away.
You take a look at the Astros defense behind Harrell this afternoon or this evening. Grossman, Barnes, and Maxwell in the outfield. VR. Altuve made a nice play right there at second base. Dominguez at third, Carter over at first, and Corporon behind the plate.
This team defensively has really struggled. Manny Machado. Now Machado got hit by a line drive during batting practice off the bat of Adam Jones. He was taking grounders at third base. Jones was in the cage hitting, and he really got smacked on the left elbow on a shot by Adam Jones. They immediately took him into the clubhouse, took a look at it, and Buck Showalter said afterwards he's all right. He's got a bruise on there, but will play. Now, whether or not that's going to affect. Here's the BP. Watch him at third base. Look. Oof. Ball put up in the air to right field, and that'll be hauled in. Sinking line drive. Maxwell over to get it. Again, Manny Machado during BP. He's at third base. You watch this. See, he got turned around fielding a ground ball. Did not see that coming, and fortunately caught him on the elbow, not in the head.
Yeah, well, I think it got him in more of the muscly part, maybe in the forearm a little bit there, because I think if it got him directly on the elbow, I think he'd be away getting x-rays and probably have to take this game off.
So he is in the lineup, and the Orioles happy about that. Pitch will be taken for a strike by Nick Markakis. Nick bringing his 7-game hit streak in and raising his average to 287. 2 down, nobody on here in the first inning. And the right-hander's pitch will be inside. Nick had an 0 for 3 against Lucas Terrell in the game in Houston. Terrell is tied for 4th in the most runs surrendered in the American League this year, and he has given up more walks than anybody else. 62 free passes have been surrendered. That's one of the reasons he got pulled by Porter out of that starting rotation. 2-1 delivery. He last started against the Angels on June 30. He worked 7 innings, giving up only a run on 6 hits. Then he went into the bullpen. Last 4 appearances have come out of the pen. And that ball will be fouled away, and a 3-ball 2-strike count. So he gets a chance again.
Yeah, he's just we talked about his inconsistencies, and that's really what led him into the bullpen. I mean, there were games, he's had 2 games where he's given up 8 runs, 2 games when he's given up 7 runs. And we talk about the flip side of that coin where he's just really been unhittable at times.
And if he gets the ground balls, he's in the game. Altuve makes the play. He is a pronounced ground ball pitcher. He gets a couple here in the first inning. Both pitchers start with clean innings. No score. You could sign up for Masson's Touch 'em All rewards to follow, share, and score great prizes. Go to massonsports.com to sign up. Being social has its rewards. As only Adam could, after Machado got hit with a foul ball, hit with that ball in batting practice off his bat, immediately wanted to play shortstop, move Hardy over to third.
Yeah, every day he takes some ground balls at short.
And he was not making light of what happened, but was pretty sure Manny was going to be all right, even if he got a bruise out of it. That goes to show, though, it's what we talk about with fans at the ballpark, even for the players. You've got to beware of what's going on the field at all times. Yep. That'll be fouled away. Carter on the tip. Carter and 0 for 6 against the Orioles in the Houston series. He leads the American League in strikeouts. Pitch will be taken away. He has power, but he'll also swing and miss on a lot of them.
Yeah, he's a typical power hitter with a lot of strikeouts, and when he runs into one, it goes a long way.
We've got a couple of players in this game who know about hitting the long ball and striking out.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Davis with 37 home runs, but 130 strikeouts and 41 walks. There's Chris Carter with 137 strikeouts and 48 walks.
That ball put up in the air, right field. Markakis able to get there easily and put it away. Carter is retired. For Chen, 67% of his outs have been on fly balls. So Chen's the fly ball pitcher in this ball game, and Harrell on the other side is the ground ball pitcher. And so for Wei-Yin Chen, talked about those numbers at home, being 2-0 with a 1.86 is pretty impressive.
It sure is. I mean, you have to be really careful if you're going to be a fly ball pitcher here at Camden Yards. And he executes his pitches very well, though. And we talked about his fastball location, and that is the key with him. There are fly balls hit, but they're not hammered.
Here is Maxwell, Justin Maxwell at the plate, playing in right field. Again, another player who did not see action against the Orioles. He is from Bethesda. Yes, Bethesda, Maryland. That's where he was born. Still lives in Maryland in Union Bride, and attended college at Maryland. Was drafted 3 times. First 2 times turned him down and kept getting better in college and up the ante. That'll go to second. Roberts is there, and he's got it. Maxwell is retired.
Well, Wei-Yin Chen, I mean, we talked about his fastball, and there it is. He uses it 69% of the time. Such an effective pitch for him, holding opponents to a 256 average. But he does have some quality secondary pitches, and him and pitching coach Rick Adair, they have worked really hard to improve those secondary offerings. We looked at him in this game to really start going to that changeup more, throwing it off the fastball, because he I think he gets into some ruts where his velocity on his changeup is up a little bit. So he and Rick Adair have been working to slow that down, but still keep that good arm speed.
Carlos Corporan at the plate. Corporan doing the catching. He is a switch hitter. He had a big 3 for 4 against the Orioles. Out of Puerto Rico, 29 years old. Fouls that one back. He signed a free agent deal back in 2010 with Houston. And Corporan also has got some power. And for this team, they've only been, the Houston Astros, the franchise, has only been to Camden Yards 2 other times. So for a lot of these players, most of them, this is the first look they've had at Camden Yards. And during batting practice, they were all trying to see how far they could hit the baseball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a pretty impressive park if you haven't been here very often, and you know that a lot of the hitters, some of the lefties want to try to hit one off the warehouse, and they see how the ball was jumping in batting practice. That's just a beautiful park, obviously, to play in and to hit in.
And a beautiful night to have it done. And the delivery, and that's going to be swung on and miss. Chen, he gets the strikeout. He's retired 6 in a row with 2 Ks and his fan club on hand. from Owings Mills. Andrea has already won $500 for being selected. You get $100 more for every Orioles hit during our ball game, and an extra $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter today. A lot of families on hand here at the ballpark as July winds down incredibly. Only a day left to go in it. 4 o'clock tomorrow is the trading deadline without having to pass players through waivers. Jones will lead it off here. 4-game hit streak for Adam. He had an 0 for 3 against Terrell in his start in Houston. And my apologies to the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley. Danley's got the plate. They changed the rotation from what we were given at the start of the game. So Kerwin Danley is our home plate umpire for this one. That'll be fouled away, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
That was a good look at the sinker from Harrell right there. Ran down and in on Adam Jones. He almost hit that one off his shoe top.
One ball, 1-strike delivery on the way. And outside, did he swing? No. And Sparksdale down at first base. Adam, one of the bats. He's been pretty consistent in the course of this season for the Orioles. That'll just miss outside. But now asked in the final drive to really put on a surge. Adam hitting .308 in the month of July, 7 home runs. That ball will go to third base on the big hop. Dominguez makes the throw, and Jones is retired. After the ball game Sunday and 2 losses to the Red Sox, Nick Markakis talked about what's got to be done now.
Oh, yeah, it's disappointing, especially when you come out with the first win. But you know they're a tough team. They're a good ball club, and you know we'll be seeing them down the road. It's not over yet, so you know we just need to put this behind us. Have a nice off day tomorrow, get some rest, and you know look to finish up this homestand strong.
Well, Nick Markakis, and you've heard it all year long, put it behind them, and that's what they've been so good at. Really just moving it on day to day, one game at a time. And it was a tough series against the Red Sox. They would have loved to open this homestand with a better series against a team in their division, but there are a lot of games left, 9 games left, I believe, with the Red Sox, and a lot of games left against the American League East. So certainly enough time to make a move, but they just need more consistent baseball, I think, from their offense, obviously, and consistent pitching.
Chris Davis, the off-speed delivery. Put it up in the air over to the seats, and that is out of play. Well, you take a look at Chris Davis. Buck Showalter trying to give him a bit of a rest today. Got to have the bat in the lineup, but using him as a DH this year. As a DH, 6 for 11, 2 home runs. There's the career .285 DH numbers with 19 homers. So he's done pretty well as a designated hitter. Much rather be on the field playing first base, obviously, but Buck Showalter, 2 reasons. One, to rest Davis, and the other to get Flaherty into a ball game. Give him a chance to get some at-bats. And a strike taken and got him, and Davis turns on Danley on that one as he's called out. Chris has now at least 1 strikeout in 23 consecutive games.
Yeah, take a look at the Nissan pitch track. This little sinking fastball at 93 miles an hour appears to catch the bottom of that box. Some pretty good movement as it comes back over that inner third. Catching the corner on Chris Davis looking.
So Chris out of there for the second out. Harrell's delivery to Wieters will be taken down low. Matt trying to get out of an 0 for 13 that he is in right now. Hitting at .242. He's had a good month of July, hitting .276 with 4 home runs this month. And among the Oriole hitters, that has been one of the better offensive outputs for the regular players. Matt had a real good series in Houston. He went 3 for 12 with a homer and a couple of RBIs against the Astros, who moved, of course, to the American League this season and in the West. To even things up, 15 teams in the American, 15 in the National, and also to even up the West, where they had played 1 team short compared to the rest of the divisions. Houston right now heading for their 3rd consecutive 100-loss season. They lost 107 last year, 106 the year before, and are probably going to lose that many again this year. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery to Wieters, and a bouncer that he stays off.
Well, they've already made some moves, been pretty active, obviously, in the before the trade deadline, and I think the Astros are probably going to be more aggressive here as it comes to a close. I mean, they're certainly a team in rebuilding phase, and if they can get some top prospects for some of their pitchers or position players, they're going to make those moves because they're looking long term.
There's one of those walks that is surrendered often by Lucas Harrell. Comes with 2 down. Orioles-Astros continue their 3-game series tomorrow and Thursday nights here at Oriole Park. Get on board, back the Birds as the pennant chase continues. Get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. So Wieters on with the walk, and here's J.J. Hardy. Hardy had a 1-for-3 off Harrell in the Houston games. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Hardy at an even 200 for the month of July. AJ has had 3 home runs this month. And the pitch there for a strike. Overall with that 252 batting average and 17, 18 long balls. Wieters with a short lead at first. Carter holding. 1-1 delivered. Harrell's pitch is there for a strike. He's keeping the pitches down so far early in this game.
He sure is, and pretty good movement on his sinker. He's throwing it consistently 92, 93 miles an hour.
1 ball, 2 strike count. And Hardy will take it outside. During his relief appearances coming out of the bullpen, last appearance 3 innings, 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks in his last outing against Toronto. And that one is swung on, foul tipped into the mitt and held on to. So Lucas Harrell's got a couple of strikeouts. The Orioles will walk, leave a man on. Get the most for your money with Blimpie's $5 deals. Choose from 4 of your Blimpie favorites. Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. Not a word. Funnel cakes. We were talking before the ball game. I don't remember the last time 2 teams played 5 games against one another in a series. I don't recall. I mean, it's happened. St. Louis and Pittsburgh are going to play 5 games in a row, starting with a doubleheader today. Mike and I were talking about it. They've gone to the 11th inning of Game 1, tied at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long 5 games.
Oh, man. Big games, too. I mean,
yeah,
Pittsburgh and St. Louis, they played last night. They got the doubleheader going today. I mean, that's a lot of baseball. I said if something doesn't break out in that series, that's too long for players to see the same faces on the other side.
Yeah, it sure is.
And here's Brandon Barnes to the plate. Barnes 4 for 11, a homer and 1 RBI against the Orioles this year, and a swing and a miss. Barnes, a veteran in their organization, 9th year with the Astros. Last season got his first chance at the major league level, playing in 43 games for the big club. Got pounded on that one, right on the line. Manny Machado. And let's take a look at our AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact.
Yeah, Wei-Yin Chen has yet to allow a home run in 3 starts at Camden Yards this season. In 2012, Chen allowed 17 home runs in 17 home starts, but very effective getting in on the hands of hitters or working that fastball away to get it off the end of the bat.
Now Dominguez coming to the plate, hitting at 228. And will take the pitch for a strike, starting at third base. He had a good series against the Orioles, 3 for 10, a homer, and 3 RBIs. Right-handed batters loving that ballpark in Houston for that scoreboard short porch left field. As to the rest of it, you need a cannon. Get one up over the Tells Hill in center.
Yeah.
Or into that huge power alley in right center field.
Well, they hit some long balls against the Orioles.
That's going to be the first hit. McLeod coming over to get it. He'll hold him to a single, a 1-out single here in the third.
Not hit very hard. Another fastball in on the hands. Just got enough of it, though. Hit it out into left field.
So with a runner on, that'll bring up Robbie Grossman, who's a switch hitter playing in left field and batting in the number 9 spot. Grossman hitting just .202 on the season. Very short lead at first base. Shows bunt. Popped it up. It's going to be a base hit. Just stayed up in the air long enough, came down, died on the grass, and with the speed, Grossman picks up an infield single, 2 on and 1 out.
A little pop up there on the bunt, and Barnes had to kind of freeze at first base. See the ball get elevated there, and Barnes hasn't moved one bit. Matt Wieters trying to get the force at first. Probably had a shot at Barnes down at second base. Tough to see, though, when he's making the play.
So here is the first chance with a runner in scoring position. And Jonathan Villar at the top of the order comes up. He was called out on strikes. As you might expect, Houston dead last in the American League with a .228 average with runners in scoring position. 2 on, 1 out. And Villar will take the pitch for a strike. This Houston team offensively, they are last in average, next to last in runs per game. Their pitching ranks dead last in ERA. Their starters are 13 out of 15. Their relievers are dead last, the highest ERA at 5.17. All around, this team has had a very long season. Here's the 0-1 delivery. That ball's going to be a base hit into right field. Dominguez will make the turn and stay at third. Former Orioles manager Dave Tremblay knows all about Markakis in right field.
He sure
He's
does.
the coach at third, and he holds him up, and the bases are loaded. There's Dave with one away.
Yeah, smart hold right there by Dave Tremblay. It's a bullet going the other way. Take a look at the pitch from Wei-Yin Chen. He stays on top of this ball and just hammers it the other way, but it gets to Markakis quick, and Markakis eyeballing Dominguez at third. Tremblay holds him up.
And that will bring up Altuve, the leadoff batter, with the bases loaded and 1 out. So the fly ball pitcher Chen will try and get a ground ball here to get out of the inning. Altuve's not an easy one to double up, however. Only 1 out. Altuve will take the breaking ball inside. Altuve had a left quad strain that took him out of the ball game on Saturday. He is their leader when it comes to stealing bases, third in the American League with 25. So getting a double play off his bat is real tough. And a lifetime .326 hitter against left-handers. 1-0 delivery to him and a ground ball towards the hole, enough for a base hit. Dominguez will score. Grossman will score. And 2 RBIs on the board for Altuve and a 2-0 Houston lead.
A CAI single right there. Wei-Yin Chen with the pitch, down and away, and you see Altuve reaching out. I mean, made a great pitch, but he just finds a hole over there. J.J. Hardy with the diving effort. Did a good job of reading the play. Good send by Tremblay, a 2-run score.
So the Astros jump out to the 2-0 lead. Big hit, and actually the fact the ball was hit as lightly as it was to Houston's advantage. It allowed that second run to come around and score. So here is Jason Castro flying out his first time up. Castro gets the chance with runners at first and second, still only one down. 284 hitter with runners in scoring position, and the pitch will be outside. Chen has been one of those pitchers this year where first strikes, while important, have not made a big difference in hitters' averages against him. If Chen gets the first strike, they hit 236. If they don't, they hit 245. So really no significant difference there for Chen in that department. 1-0. And a big cut going for the long ball right there. Castro 1-1.
That was a good pitch, though, by Wei-Yin Chen. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track right here. Fastball right down at the bottom of that strike zone as Castro swings through it.
Juan Castro, the designated Jason Castro, the designated hitter in this ball game. One of their catchers. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery. And the pitch is up high. They fall behind him 2-1. Castro's been a good doubles hitter. 7th in the American League with 27 two-baggers. Boy, it's a big inning early in this ball game for Chen and the Orioles. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Infield double play depth. His pitch will miss outside. So Chen falls behind him 3-1. Got the first out on a ground ball. Then 4 consecutive base hits. One of them on a bunt. Let's put the Astros on top 2-0. And a 3-1 count on Castro with Chris Carter, their cleanup batter, on deck. Chen's 3-1 pitch, and they're loaded again. So the first walk surrendered by Chen, who's given up only 18 on the season, will load the bases for the second time in the inning.
Yeah, Ricciardero come out and give him a little bit breather here, unless he sees something mechanically wrong from Wei-Yin Chen. But I think Wei-Yin's making some pretty good pitches. Dominguez kind of a jam shot for the base hit. Grossman got away with a bunt. It was a popped up bunt that, I think there was just a little bit of luck on the side there. Villar did a good job of hitting going the other way, but Altuve's was just, one of those seeing eye singles, reaching out on a good pitch from Chen. So catch his breath, settle back in, keep executing quality pitches, and get out of this inning.
Houston has a 10-17 record against left-handed starters this year. Only Seattle has lost more games against left-handed starters. Chris Carter with the sacks full and only 1 away. Chen's delivery to him, the off-speed pitch, will catch the outside corner for a strike. Carter flied out his first time up. Carter has had some games here at Camden Yards, a .333 lifetime average in this ballpark with a couple of home runs. Bases loaded. Chen's 0-1 delivery to him, and Carter will foul it back. So Chen gets ahead on the count 0-2.
Now Wayne's mixing in some off-speed pitches in the early part of this game to keep these hitters off his fastball. Started Carter off with a nice backdoor breaking ball, and able to get that 91-mile-an-hour fastball by him.
Carter played those games here when he was playing for Oakland. See the Orioles with that 16-8 mark against the West. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Thought about reaching, stayed away. The Orioles were 16-18 against the West last year. They are 16-8 against the Western Division teams so far this year. Chen with a 1-2. Ducks on the pond here in the third and reached for and another slow roller that's going to go into foul territory.
Well, Chen's thrown a couple change-ups here in early going in this ballgame. That was a great one there at 83 miles an hour with a little bit of fade at the end. And Carter just getting enough of it to stay alive.
Pitch count obviously going up in a hurry at 44. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And again, trying to get him to chase one away. Chen knows he's #1 in strikeouts in the American League. Carter is, so try and get him to go after a pitch, but he's not biting. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Outfield straight away on him. 2-2 delivery. And Carter goes down swinging.
A good fastball here from Wei-Yin Chen. Pretty good battle between Carter and Chen. Wei-Yin Chen wins this one with a fastball at 92 on the outside corner. And Carter with the big swing and miss. Good location. Hits Matt Waiter's glove.
So a chance to get out of this and not give up anymore if he can get Justin Maxwell. Maxwell, 325 off left-handers. And he chases one up and away for a strike. Maxwell popped out his first time up. He's had 3 career grand slam home runs and a big .455 batting average. And he's got the bases loaded here with 2 runs in the third. Maxwell this season, his first chance with the bases loaded. Chen with the 0-1 delivery. Not going to go after that one. Takes the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Altuve, the 2 RBI single in the inning. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and the ball will be popped up by the Orioles dugout and behind it. And the count goes to 1-2.
Well, this has been a real tough inning on Wei-Yin Chen, but if he can get out of here with just 2 runs, get this Orioles offense back up there and swinging it, I think that'll obviously do Wei-Yin Chen some good, but he's got to come up with a big pitch here against Maxwell.
He'd allowed only 1/3 inning run all year. Well, he's doubled that here in this inning so far. Runner steals home. Oh, mercy. How about that? Villar steals home. He just took off from third base and nobody hollered. And by the time Chen realized it, he was already at the plate. Watch him go.
Yeah, he had been moving around down there a lot when he was at third base, and this time he just says the heck with it. He had him timed up. That's pretty much an uncontested steal at home plate. Surprised everybody. He gets a couple hops and off he goes.
You won't see that one very often. A steal of home. Now Chen's got to stay settled here. First and second, 2 ball, 2 strike count. And Maxwell will take it, and he is gone. But there's a moment in Major League Baseball as Villar, their leadoff batter, steals home for the 3rd run of the inning. home plate this season, and he did it with some vigor, as JFK might have said, and no play at the plate.
Yeah, they were trying to communicate it. J.J. Hardy had his eye on him over there, and as he hops off, you see him screaming, 4-4, but too late. And Manny's got to do a better job over there at third base as well, because he had been bouncing off throughout that at bat just to try to time something up. He fake bluffed a couple times, and Wei Chen didn't respond. There was no step off or anything, and he just took advantage of some lackadaisicalness there by obviously Wei Chen not paying attention and Manny Machado not being on top of that one.
So 3 runs on 4 hits, 8 batters to the plate for the Astros in that third inning. Here is Ryan Flaherty getting his start at first base in this ball game. He'll take it for a strike. Flaherty, Roberts, and McLeod are due up for the Orioles. As we said, his 5th career game at first base. Flaherty had a 1-for-3 against Harrell in the series in Houston. 2-ball, 1-strike count. It's been tough for Flaherty to get into ball games with Brian Roberts back end hitting, and with the DH ring spread around, and that's why the skipper was a little concerned that it was time to get these guys some at bats. 3-1 count. This is what the Orioles hope will happen to Lucas Harrell. Tends to be all over the place when it goes on him. She's shown a really good sinking fastball that is his stock and trade, but when it goes, it goes.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, he's up there in walks, obviously. I think he might be leading the American League.
Ball's going to be popped up to short. And that'll be handled. Villar's there to put it away, and Flaherty is retired. Take a look at our Hollywood Casino League leaderboard.
Yeah, sure enough. Most walks this season. Lucas Harrell with Houston, 63. Jimenez from Cleveland at 60. Dempster with 56. Moore, 56. And Masterson, 55. But he's throwing strikes right now. The Orioles have to, obviously, when he starts to lose it, be patient up there. Try to get guys on base, and hopefully somebody pop one out. Get back into this ball game.
1 down. And Brian Roberts will take the pitch for a strike. Brian was not in the game against the Astros. He wasn't back with the Orioles when they played the 3-game set, and the Orioles won 2 out of 3 in Houston. Pitch will be taken down low, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. One delivery off the end of the bat and back into the screen. For Brian against the Astros in his career, he's had a goodly number of at-bats, hitting .361, playing in his 10th game against the Astros. And a strike there got him, and no argument on that one. 3 Ks.
Well, he's been really effective on the Orioles' left-handed hitters, bringing this 2-seam fastball back over, starting off right at Brian Roberts' thigh, and you see the movement as it comes back over that inner third. Pretty good pitch from Harrell.
Again, left-handers hitting at .252, right-handers at .330 against him. And there's a strike. Nate McLeod grounded out his first time up. As we said at the top, Nate receiving the Heart and Hustle Award as the representative from the Orioles. The Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association, at their banquet in the fall, will have one final award to be given to one Major League player for the Heart and Hustle Award. That one to left field is hit deep, but it's in the yard. Grossman is there to put it away in a 1-2-3 inning for Lucas Harrell, and the Astros in game 1 of 3 on top of the O's. event. Visit VWDealer.com. 2007, in front of a record 75,000 people. The Hall of Fame members, 53 of them, welcomed Cal Ripken Jr. and Tony Gwynn on this date into the Hall of Fame. And in 1960, Casey Stengel celebrated his 70th birthday with the famous words, "Most people my age are dead at the present time," as only Casey could. An outstanding ball player, went to the Hall as a manager, but 284, 14 years playing, had a great job. 14 seasons, giant victories in the 23 World Series. He hit the home runs that won them. 10 pennants, 7 World Series titles as the Yankee manager. Ground ball. Corcoran takes it to short. Play made by Hardy. And one away on one pitch here in the 4th inning.
Well, Wei and Chen needed that to start the 4th after a very long 3rd inning.
One down, Barnes. Then Dominguez coming up. 2 RBIs. Altuve with a single. Villar with a steal of home, accounting for the 3 Houston runs. Machado even with a bag against the speedster. Brandon Barnes, who grounded out his first time up. Barnes ranks 4th in the American League against left-handers, hitting .341. Ground ball up the middle. Hardy diving. No, just made a great play. And he got him. Tremendous play by the Orioles shortstop.
And J.J. Hardy once again showing why he's a Gold Glove shortstop. Great range up the middle here. Great read off the bat as well. Good first step. And he gets to it reaching towards the outfield. A little pirouette and throws a strike on to Flaherty. Look at the extension arm. It looked like it went another extra foot to make a play on that ball up the middle. Nice spin throw, keeping his balance to record the out.
So 2 down. The Orioles continue to have the best defense in the American League. They've committed only 18 errors. 32 errors rather. You compare that to Houston. Houston's got 77 errors and have allowed 52 unearned runs. The Orioles have surrendered 18. Matt Dominguez, a single and a run scored in the 3rd inning. And the pitch taken up high. Two pitchers who get the ball back and are ready to go. Neither Chen nor Lucas Harrell waste much time. Ball fouled away. That'll even it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harrell with a walk, 3 strikeouts. Chen with a walk and 4 strikeouts.
Well, tempo for a starting pitcher really plays a big part. And obviously, good plays behind you. Just saw J.J. Hardy, obviously. They're on their toes. They're ready to go. They know the ball's going to be put in play.
Dominguez fouls that one away. He's had good luck against lefties in his career. Dominguez this season, though, just .219 off left-handers, or with runners on and left-handers. He's just had a struggle at the plate with a .230 average. Machado backs up at 3rd on him, and the pitch will be taken away. So Dominguez with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Three-two delivery to him, and that's popped up. Does he not look like Eric Bedard?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? When I first saw him today, I almost said, "Hey, Eric," and then whoop, there's Eric. He's going to pitch in this series against Miguel Gonzalez tomorrow. The 2 of them look very much alike. One has a false mustache, the other doesn't. Swung on and missed. Dominguez goes down swinging. Chen with 5 Ks. Houston with a lead, 3-0.
Yeah, Manny Machado, most 3+ hit games, and he is leading the way with 14. Joe Mauer tied with him, but Miguel Cabrera and Jed Lowry sneaking up with 13. That's a lot of 3+ hit games. Manny Machado looking to try to keep that up for the second half of the season.
All ready to go. Manny Machado takes it outside. 5 out of 11 first pitch strikes have been thrown by Harrell, and that matters. The numbers for him. If he doesn't get that first strike, hitters hit 306. If he does, 231. That's the way it generally is for most pitchers, Chen being an exception. Manny Machado will take it outside. 3-0. Machado flied out to right field his first time up. Manny falling under that 300 batting average for the first time since April 27. He'd been above 300 all the way through. And we'll take a strike in the outside corner. Manny's had only one double in the month of July. Still is the leader in 2 baggers. That's how many he had piled up. 39 doubles. Joe Mauer second with 31. 3-1 delivery, and he got a walk. Get on board during the playoff chase by picking up the Birdland Summer 6-pack. You'll get a ticket to 6 games of your choice throughout the remainder of the year. 2 against either the Yankees or Red Sox for one low price. You pay non-prime prices for prime-time games. So lock in your seats now. Visit Orioles.com or call 888-8484. So the Orioles get the lead-off walk. See if they can take advantage of it. Markakis will take a strike. He grounded out his first time up. Great finish coming up in this American League East. In fact, all around baseball with the races for the division titles. Atlanta, the only team with anything looks like a comfortable lead. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him, and that will miss. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Pittsburgh's moved ahead of the Cardinals into first place. They won the extra inning ball game today. First game of the doubleheader by a score of 2-1. So they are now a half game up on the Cardinals in the Central. Cardinals have now lost 5 in a row. Markakis has to get out of the way, and here's the Harrell that we were told about before the game a little bit.
Yeah, it tends to be become a little bit erratic in his starts and loses command, and pretty much to the point where he throws non-competitive pitches, not even close to the zone, and obviously falling behind and walking Manny Machado, and now Nick Markakis working the count into his favor.
And that'll be slice foul, 2-2. Nick has a 7-game hit streak coming into tonight's ball game, during which he is hitting .393.
Yeah, staying red hot, obviously using the whole field like he's done all year, and very tough. One of the toughest hitters in all of baseball to strike out. So consistent approach every time he goes up there, puts the ball in play and finding some holes.
Nick hitting .307 in July coming into the ball game. 2-2 delivery, runner at first. That'll be fouled off the other way again. Real good crowd on hand here for the opener of this 3-game set. The Orioles will see their former starter Eric Bedard in the ball game tomorrow night. Miguel Gonzalez against him. Chris Tillman with his 13-3 mark goes against Jordan Lyles in the game on August 1st, Thursday night.
And here we go.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery popped up outside of third base. Dominguez will watch it go foul. Yeah, the races are they're going to be so tight. Tampa Bay half game ahead of Boston. The Orioles 5 out. New York 7.5 out. They're not done. You see the standings. The wild card race wide open. The Indians a half game out. The Rangers just 1 game out. I mean, that's going to be a chase for those wild card spots. Tampa Bay is the hottest team in the East, winning 8 of their last 10 ball games and having a tremendous month of July. Detroit's got a 2.5 game lead over Cleveland. Indians won 5 in a row, though. 2-2 delivery on the way, and another one popped up in the air. Second base. Altuve. And for the Orioles, Mike, it's it's going to be fun for fans, people who love baseball. The Orioles have the 5th toughest schedule remaining if you go by strength of schedule. 32 games versus teams 500 or better. And there's the breakdown with 29 to go against the East. And the Orioles from September 9 through the end of the year will play only division teams.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things going on in the month of September, but it's no easy chore up until that point anyway. I mean, I think when you get into August, beginning of August, every game matters, obviously, even to teams that aren't contending, because they want to play spoiler. They want to have something to play for, and if it can be knocking teams out of the postseason, that's what their motivation is. And obviously, younger teams, they try to find out what they're capable of. We just saw VR stealing home. I mean, they're going to take chances against some of the better teams.
0-1 count on Adam Jones. 1 down. Runner at first, Manny Machado. Carter holding the bag. Chenzo, the delivery by Harrell, rather, outside. A little more of a struggle here in this inning than he had in the first 3. Astros 3-4-0. The Orioles 0-0-0. Astros have left 2. The Orioles 1. 1-1 delivery. And that's going to miss down low. 2-1. Jones will take it. It's there. And again, another pitch right at the bottom of that strike zone, right where he wants it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, you get that good movement on that 2-seamer down at the bottom of the zone, and they're going to swing and miss it, or they're going to hit it on the ground for a ground ball out.
Orioles have scored only 9 runs in their last 5 games, and none so far here. Jones. That one just missed. And the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ed Porter with a little discussion for Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire. Machado at first. He's running. 3-2 is the chopper. Only play is going to be at first. And just in time. VR taking a look at second base. A couple of crow hops on that one, but gets the out. Machado goes down to second base, 2 away.
Yeah, pretty lucky right there. It took his time. Adam Jones almost beat that one out.
That'll bring up Chris Davis.
Now take a look at the numbers here. April and May, Chris Davis doing a great job of about limiting his strikeouts. 4.52 per plate appearance, but in June and July it's dropped way down to 2.63, and his swing and miss 17% over the last couple months, and he has had a strikeout or more in 23 straight games. Chris Davis needs to find that contact point. You've seen what he can do. Even when he just tries to put a ball in play, he has the ability to hit balls out of the ballpark.
Infield shift is on. Outfield deep and straight away. Chris called out on strikes his first time up. Runner at second base. 1-0 delivery on the way. The Orioles again have gone into a bit of a funk with runners in scoring position. 5 for their last 39. And they get their first opportunity in this ball game. On the season, the Orioles still, Jim Prezi, their hitting coach, have kept the number up. They've been among the top 3 in that category all year long, but have had a couple of recent streaks where the hits have not been there. They are 3rd overall in the league right now. Davis will take that. He just missed, frame for an extra second. 3-0.
Harrell falling behind here now with the open base. They have to discuss whether they want to put him on or not, because Chris Davis definitely going to have the green light in this hitting count.
Chris has not had a home run now in 10 ball games. That is the longest stretch he's had. Not had an RBI in 6 games. And obviously the Orioles just need to have his bat going. Nobody wants it more than Chris Davis. to get that started again. And it'll take just one to light the fire, turn the flame up a little higher.
Yeah, that's what you hope. I mean, I think if Chris Davis gets going a little bit, shows a little more consistency up there, I think everybody in this Orioles offense will relax a little bit more, have the fun that they were having through the first half.
3-0 the count. Manny Machado off second base. 3-0 delivered to Davis. It is there for a strike. And the count goes to 3-1. 72 pitches thrown by Harrell so far in the ball game. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and he walked it. Third walk surrendered. A league leading 65 walks on the year. And Matt Wieters will be coming to the plate, and Doug Brokaw on his way out, pitching coach for the Astros.
A couple walks this inning. 23 pitches now. Maybe just another breather there, a reminder of the signs they're going to be using, how they're going to try to get Matt Wieters out. Just give him a little breath. They don't want him to fall into that walking slump he's been in. I mean, he can lose command in a heartbeat.
So the Orioles get 2 on with 2 down. He has walked as many as 6 in a ball game twice. 5 in a ball game twice. And over to third base goes Manny Machado. Chris Davis stays at first.
That's a real good read by Manny Machado. The only way he's going to make it on this pitch is if he's anticipating it. He saw that ball kick away, and off he goes. So he can get the secondary lead. A bit of a hesitation. And there he is, uncontested. And that ball didn't get too far away.
1-0 delivery again is going to miss down low. Wieters, he drew a walk his first time up. 4 wild pitches by Harrell on the season. Will Porter's ball club up, trying to hold a 3-0 lead, and not even close on that one. And he falls behind Wieters 3-0. He has seen this before.
Yes, that's what the look in his eye was. Hoping he can get it back on track. He was really aggressive first 3 innings, aggressive in the zone, had a lot of success.
And walked him. 3 walks in the inning. A big chance for the Orioles. Here in the 4th, down 3-0. J.J. Hardy coming up with the bases loaded. Hardy, a strikeout victim his first time up. All walks. Machado the leadoff walk. Then with 2 down, Davis the walk and Wieters the walk. 3 grand slams in his career. Harrell's pitch, a strike on the outside corner. Hitters have gone .320 against this right-hander with runners in scoring position and 2 down. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Outside with it. 1 ball and 1 strike. One delivery, and Hardy will put it up in the air outside of first base and towards the seats and foul. For J.J. Hardy against Houston, you see the numbers, the 3 games, 8 for 13 with a home run and 3 RBIs, by far the best of the O's offensive output in Houston.
Yeah, he'd love to stay hot against Houston right here in this at bat. Big opportunity for the Orioles and J.J.
2 for 12 with the bases loaded this year. 1-2 delivery, ground ball towards the middle, base hit. That'll score Manny Machado. Davis coming home. It'll be a single and 2 RBIs, and it's a 1-run ball game.
That's a really good piece of hitting right there by J.J. Hardy. Good piece of clutch hitting. ignites the fans here at Camden Yards. 2 out knock, bases loaded. This pitch coming back over that outer third. JJ staying on it. See him rifle it through the middle. Altuve diving in there. Big send. Bobby Dickerson getting Chris Davis in there safely.
For J.J. Hardy, 60 RBIs on the season. And a big hit. Now the potential tying run at third. Wieters, Hardy on at first. Here is Flaherty. Flaherty popped out. His first time up. Ball put high in the air to right field. Maxwell is there. And he will put it away to retire the side. The Orioles have only 1 hit in this ball game. Hardy's single, but it drove in 2. Makes it 3-2. PNC Bank for the achiever in you.
Yeah, Steve Pearce on the mend on his rehab assignment with the inflamed wrist, and 2 for 4 with 2 singles and an RBI. That was in the Gulf Coast League. And yesterday with Frederick, 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Did get hit by a pitch though, but there's another weapon that Buck Showalter's hoping will help. Obviously the Orioles down the stretch, big right-handed bat, and they've been looking for a consistent bopper in the lineup. And Steve Pearce could be the one.
So Chen, now a couple of runs on the board for him. We'll have number 9 Grossman, then VR at the top of the order, and Altuve. Robert Grossman, just 23 years old. He was acquired from Pittsburgh in the Wandy Rodriguez deal in the middle of last season. 5 minor league years, 267 career average, and getting his first shot at the majors this season. And he will take it up high for a ball. Three-2 game. Astros have played their share of 1-run games. They're 14 and 18 in 1-run ball games. So while their overall record has been a disaster, they have had some tight games along the way.
A lot of times you lose those tight games because of defense. And talk about their bullpen has just been really struggling this year. So a lot of things have come into play why they've lost some of those 1-run games.
The Orioles won in Houston 4-1 and 3-1 and lost 11-7 in the 3-game set. Taken for a strike. Grossman 3-1. Good speed. Manny Machado's playing in at third base. Grossman hitting .308 against left-handers on the year. Here's the 3-1 delivery to him, and he's going to go to second and get a base hit. A real good inside-out swing right there. And the leadoff man is on. And that brings VR to the plate, who stole home in the third inning.
Pretty exciting play here, but you see the pitch before kind of bluffs a little bit. Manny Machado aware of that. It kind of gives him a jab step, but Villar's kind of set up the Orioles defense. See J.J. Hardy screaming, and there's that stolen base. Pretty much uncontested. Wei and Chen tried to fire it home, but ended up catching him in the back.
In again, Manny Machado on the grass this time. He has struck out, singled. The last stolen base prior to that here at Camden Yards, Jeff Francoeur of the Royals, August of 2012. And the steal of home was the 14th in Camden Yards history. And from Houston's perspective, Jose Altuve was the last Astro to steal home. He did it in June of last year against the White Sox. So recent vintage steals of home. There have been 5 total this year. Steals of home. Gordon Beckham, Carlos Beltran, Andrew McCutchen, Shane Victorino, and now Villar. Nobody out, runner on. He does push one. Great bunt. Chen. Oh, nice play. No chance to transfer from the glove, so he just pitched it over. Sacrifice moves the runner up, and Porter's coming out to argue.
Now Porter's going to come out to argue, but that was a beautiful play by the Orioles defense. Wei-Yin Chen with a great glove flip, but even better that Ryan Flaherty held his ground at first base. If Flaherty comes up to try to get that ball, they're not going to be able to get Villar. Beautiful play, great angle by Wei-Yin Chen. He is out at first base. Here it is, the glove flip by Wei-Yin Chen, getting that good angle, staying aggressive to the ball, and shows his athleticism with the good flip to Ryan Flaherty.
And a real good call by Lance Barksdale on the money. So a sacrifice moves the runner down to second base with one away. Altuve had the big 2 RBI base hit in the 3rd inning with the bases loaded. He has also grounded out. Roberts trying to hold the runner close. That ball hit in the air to right field. Nick Markakis going over. He's got room, and he'll make the catch. Runner tags. Grossman will go to third base, but there are 2 away. On Sunday, all kids 14 and under can bring their Major League dreams to life by running the bases here at Oriole Park after the 1:35 O's Mariners game. So don't miss your chance to make some new Birdland memories with your family and enjoy a great summer afternoon of Orioles baseball. Get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. And a great chance for the kids on Sunday of all ages. Runner at third base, 2 away. Here is Jason Castro, who has walked and flied out. Big rip. Chen has walked 1. He has struck out 5. Trying to keep this a 1-run ball game. Runner off third, Grossman. 0-1 delivery, almost caught him. Chen has hit only 1 batter this year.
Yeah, Wei-Yin trying to go back in an up and in spot, and Casper just swung and missed. Just kind of lost it a little bit there, arm side.
One ball, 1 strikeout. You can bet he's looking at third. Gotta believe if you're a pitcher and somebody stole home on you in a game, you're probably staring over there for the rest of the ball game.
You're well aware of who's behind you now.
And Grossman's got speed. You do want to watch him. Dave Tremblay, third base coach, talking to him there. He's got room to get a lead with Machado back at third. Now Machado moves in on him. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that's a strike. Castro out of California. He is 26 years old, 10th overall pick, went to Stanford. Played there 06, 7, and 8 for the Cardinals. 2 ball, 2 strikeout. Chen's delivery to him, and a ball fouled off. Chen has really held the lefties down with that 197 opponent batting average. Right-handers 272, well above that. Grossman a leadoff singles now at third base. 2 down, 2-2. And he struck him out. Chen gets his 6th strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Roberts will lead it off for the in yards tonight. Just ideal weather. Take a look at our Major League Notebook. Making their moves. These are teams doing it. The Indians, 14 shutouts, the most in the majors. In July, they've got the 4th best ERA in the American League, making a run at their division. The Oakland A's, how do they do it? They were 20-22, 7.5 games behind in the West since 43-21. And they lead the West coming into today's play. And the Braves, they've won their Major League best 32nd comeback. They did it Sunday, overcoming a 5-run 3rd inning deficit and a 1-run 5th inning lead and a blown save. They still won, and they lead the National League East by 9.
That's pretty impressive, those comeback wins. Much like the Orioles. I mean, very strong, obviously, late in the ball game. Good offense.
Roberts pops it up. Short or left. Left fielder. Grossman there. Roberts retired, 0 for 2 in the ball game, 1 down, 5th inning. Time for the 5th inning home run bonus. This inning only. Our Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game gets $500 for any Orioles home run. Andrea Billups has already won $600. And for your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Nate McLeod. Nate has grounded out, flied out. Takes that to left field. It'll stay up. And the sliding catch for Grossman. 2 away here in the 5th inning.
Pretty good play right there by Grossman. Very tough read off the end of the bat of Nate McLeod, and he got a great first step. And take a look at this effort right here from Grossman as he slides to a knee, catches it on the side. That's the way outfielders create an angle there. Harrell loving that play.
It's only his 6th start in left field. This is a team that the lineup changes considerably from game to game.
Yeah, it sure does. Obviously, Porter wanting to take a look at some of his younger players, see where they're going to fit best for the future.
Manny Machado, the 1-0 delivery to him. Gets ahead on the count, 2-0. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to be blooped to center, and that stays up. Carl Barnes comes on and makes the play. 3 fly ball outs here in the inning, and the Orioles down a run. Astros 3 and the O's 2. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound. 6 strikeouts so far in the ball game, and ones he's needed. He got the leadoff batter, DR and a K, and then able to get Carter, who has struck out more than anyone else. And he's getting both the lefties and righties on those strikeouts.
Yeah, aside from that one bad inning, the 3rd inning, where there are a couple kind of seeing eye singles, a bloop bunt for a base hit out in front of home plate, and then a seeing eye single past the diving J.J. Hardy to score a few runs. Wei-Yin Chen's thrown pretty well aside from that 3rd inning.
Chris Cotter's had an 0 for 2. He has struck out, flied out. He's 0 for 8 against the Orioles this year, but ever dangerous. That bat looks like a toothpick in his hand. 0-2 count on Carter. Chen's delivery to him. That'll be outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. 3-5-0 the Astros. 2-1-0 for the Orioles. And the breaking ball misses down low. Carter coming to this ball club from Oakland. The Fernando Rodriguez trade in February of this year. 2-2 delivery, and that one in the air to center. Jones turned the other way, gets righted up, and will make the catch. Why make it easy if you can do it for a highlight reel? Start your night of Orioles baseball every evening with the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. Today's show, Buck Showalter to join the guys live before the ball game to talk about what was going on with the club and with deals. Tomorrow, Tom, Dave, Mel, Phil, they'll have the latest news on the trading deadline. That's tomorrow. And a look at tomorrow's starter, former Oriole Eric Bedard. Tomorrow, 5 to 6:30 on Masson. Breaking ball. Locked him up, but he took it. Maxwell, he has popped out and struck out. Couple of home runs, 8 RBIs for him. Fully engaged in a pitcher's duel, at least for the moment. Here's the 2-0 delivery on the inside corner. Told you Maxwell is from Bethesda, still lives in Maryland at Union Bridge. He played at the University of Maryland and was a big-time offensive player for the ball club. The Orioles actually drafted him out of high school in the 7th round. He declined, went to Maryland, hit .299 at 16 homers, 71 RBIs, voted as the top defensive outfielder in the ACC. Then he got drafted by Texas. He declined, drafted a 3rd time around, and finally was signed. Swing and foul tipped. The Washington Nationals had a piece of him for a while. He was added to the 40-man roster in September of '07, called up directly from A-ball, then designated for assignment when he ended up with the New York Yankees and claimed off waivers by Houston. Fouled off again, so he's had a circuitous route.
Yeah, a lot of teams have wanted him, that's for sure.
Played a lot last year. He played in 124 games, 18 home runs, and 315 at-bats. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Chen's delivery to him, and he got him.
That's a real good fastball right there from Wei-Yin Chen. A steady dose of off-speed pitches, but count at 3-2. Able to spot his fastball down at the bottom of the strike zone. You see Maxwell swinging right over the top of it. Good look at that downhill angle right there, coming out of the hand of Wei-Yin Chen. Perfect pitch once again.
Chen has had as many as 6 strikeouts this year. He got those against Seattle. His career high is 12. Came against Oakland last year. He's got 7 in this ball game. Corporon at the plate. 0 for 2 in the ball game. Has struck out, grounded out, switch hitter. And fouls that one away. True to form in this ball game, the 5 hits picked up by Houston have all been by right-handers. That's the way it's been most of the year, with the right-hander sitting about 80 points higher than lefties against Wei Yin Chen. 0-2 delivery. Foul tipped into the mitt. He got him. 8 strikeouts, 2 in the inning. Retires the side in order. Bottom of the 6th. Markakis to lead it off. From playing days, when you get up against teams in the division like the Red Sox, you're sky high, or the adrenaline's going. Then you have the Astros come in, and it's dangerous.
It's tough. It sure is. And these are dangerous teams because they want to be the spoilers, and they're trying to prove to themselves, especially some of the younger players on the Astros, that they belong in the big leagues. So they're trying to do things, obviously, to showcase themselves, but try to win a ball game against a team that's looking to head to the postseason.
And you only look back 2 years to the Orioles. They were doing the same thing.
Exactly.
That last game,
That's
the Red
right.
Sox had knocked them out and all that.
Robert Andino, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of situation the Astros find themselves in. What they have to play for is what Mike was talking about, the role of being a spoiler. Here is Nick Markakis. 1-0 delivery to him. Nick will take it up high for a ball. Markakis popped out, grounded out. Jones and Davis to follow. Orioles looking to get out of the minor 2-game losing streak they are in. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Nick takes it away. 3-0.
Well, Harrell was hurt with base on balls in the 4th inning. 3 base on balls led to the only hit that the Orioles have tonight. Big one by J.J. Hardy to pick up 2 runs. So they're looking to capitalize once again here with Nick Markakis, the leadoff walk.
That's 5 walks he's surrendered in the ball game. So the bullpen is active. Josh Fields, Wesley Wright. Orioles get the leadoff man on again. Harrell has been his own worst enemy in this ball game. That leadoff walk to Manny Machado in the 4th inning. Manny would score. Leadoff walk here. He retires 74% of leadoff batters. But boy, leadoff walks, they can kill you. Here's Jones. He has grounded out twice. And Adam will take the pitch for a strike on the outside corner. This is where that sinker can be so important. Harrell ranks 4th in the league in ground ball fly ball ratio, and he's induced 21 double plays. So he's got the sinker that can get him out of some innings. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Jones to short. Diving catch made. No play at first base. The R's decided to be an integral part of this game, and he makes a defensive play to add to his steal of home that came earlier.
Yeah, pretty impressive play right here by the shortstop from the Astros. That ball's actually behind him. Check out the angle he has to make this play. Adam Jones hit a bullet, and he's heading towards left field to make that out.
Good job by Nick Markakis to hang tight and not get doubled off. Davis a walk, and he is struck out. Timeout asked for on the positioning here as to who's going to cover second. because they have the shift on the shortstop. The R is over on the second base side, and the third baseman Dominguez is almost at second base. One down. Way inside, jackknifes away on that one. 1-0.
Yeah, a lot of communication going on right now with this Astros defense. Dominguez and VR out in the middle of the field trying to figure out who's going to take coverage on a potential steal or a double play ball back to the pitcher.
Here's the 1-0 delivery. Outfield, Barnes in center is about as far back as we've seen anybody play, even against Chris Davis. He is way out there, and so is Grossman in left. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to be outside. 3-0.
Harold doesn't want anything to do with Chris Davis.
See the shift, and you see how far out Barnes is in center field. Takeoff on the old soda sign. Swung on and miss. So he had the green light. 3-1.
Well, you like to see that. A good aggressive cut. 3-0 count. Pretty much a free pass for Chris Davis. Let it fly. He's unable to catch up to that one at the top of the zone.
Chris coming into the day holding the third best average against right-handers at .337. David Ortiz, Miguel Cabrera ahead of him. 3-1 delivery on the way to him, and Davis puts it in the air the other way, going back near the wall, at the wall, in the corner, up, goodbye, home run! Chris Davis, a 3 RBI homer, and he 2 RBI homer pumped the other way, and that's what the Orioles have been waiting for, and so has he. Just their second hit of the ball game, the Orioles take a 4-3 lead.
Now once again the base on balls comes back to haunt Harold. Bo Porter coming out. Take a look at this swing from Chris Davis. It was an aggressive 3-0 cut, but he gets in, stays in that good hitter's count. This fastball staying over the middle of the plate, and he goes down and gets that one once again the opposite way, showing his tremendous power. And Harold reaction to it. Oh, I cannot believe he just gave a home run up to Chris Davis.
And with Davis's home run, Harold will leave the ball game in a strange line, giving up 4 runs on 2 hits, and the Orioles are up by 1. After 4 appearances out of the bullpen, a strange line. Could be the losing pitcher.
Yeah, sure was. 5 1/3 innings pitched, just the 2 hits, but the 5 walks really were costly for Harold. as those two hits really counted for the Orioles. Big hit by J.J. Hardy and then the home run by Chris Davis. Josh Fields now comes in the ball game. This will be his 20th appearance. That's 6.35 earned run average. Kind of indicative of this Astros bullpen. 15 strikeouts, 7 base on balls. On a batting average of 265. Lefties just 227. Righties up to 283.
So Fields on, has missed a good part of this season, being on the disabled list. Came off on May 31st, missed 51 games, had a right forearm strain. He works here. Wieters with the bases empty, 2 runs in and only 1 away. Wieters has drawn 2 of the 5 walks that were surrendered by Harold in the ball game. And Fields will miss with it down low, and the count goes to 2-0. So the Orioles come back and have their first lead of the ball game. And a sigh of relief, not just from Chris Davis, but from the entire bench on that home run. That'll be fouled back. Chris's first home run since the 14th, when he got one against Toronto. And you know the hope now is, and we'll put him back on track, to get some more of the long balls. And Chen, the Orioles starter, finds himself with a 1-run lead, at least at this moment. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, and a good jam shot down and in. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, Fields a pretty good arm now. He throws a 4-seam fastball. That one appeared to have a little bit of a cut to it, but he can get it up to 96. He can work it in the mid-90s. Has a curve and a change to go along with it.
2-ball, 2-strike count. And Wieters takes it, and it's in there. So Fields starts it out with a strikeout, having to come back in that at-bat.
Take a look at the fastball here from Fields at 94 miles an hour, staying at the bottom of the zone. Picked up the big strike looking against Matt Wieters.
2 down, nobody on, and here's Hardy, who had the other big hit. Hardy got 2 RBIs on a bases loaded single in the 4th inning. It cut the Astros lead to 1. 2 down here, nobody on, and Fields' pitch will be inside for a ball. Hardy, the 1-0 delivery to him. Slider that'll be taken outside. I don't know if the starter, Harold's talking about something wrong with the arm or not. I'm talking to the trainers. Fields with a 2-0 delivery, and that's going to miss outside. So he falls behind again, this time 3-0. Fields was a first-round pick, 20th overall, back in 2008 when the Astros picked him up. 3-0 delivery. It'll be taken, and he walked him. Well, the Orioles getting some free passes in this ball game. This one comes at 2 down. When the Orioles win, everyone wins all season long. When the Orioles win and score 5 or more, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. Bo may have seen enough of the base on balls.
Yeah.
He'll come out and make another pitching change. Wright, who'd been warming up, will come on to face Flaherty. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick here at Camden Yards, and the Orioles looking for a comeback win, have taken the 4-3 lead and will face the third Houston pitcher.
Yeah, Wesley Wright, he's actually a lefty matchup specialist. This will be his 50th game, 4.30 earned run average, 36 strikeouts to 13 base on balls. You see the opponent batting average 282, lefty's hitting 297. Righty's just at 267, but for the last couple years, he's held lefties to a 210 batting average.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Yeah, you see that number up a bit.
Yeah. Here is Flaherty, who's popped out and flied out, playing at first base tonight. Chris Davis, the DH, who's delivered the home run in the ball game. And Flaherty will take the pitch away for a ball. So the Orioles getting the lead here in the 6th inning on the Davis home run, is 38th. And trying to add to it with 2 away. On at first base, Hardy with a walk. Orioles have drawn 6 walks in the game. Season high is 7. Came against Texas. 1-0 delivery on the way. A bit ironically, the Orioles the second fewest walks coming into today's play with 255. Milwaukee 245 was last. Not the way the numbers have gone in this game. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss.
Tough pitch right there. Good take by Ryan Flaherty.
2-1.
Slider.
Can anybody here throw a strike? Here's the 2-1 delivery, and a swing and a miss. Probably not a strike. And the count goes to 2-2 on Flaherty, with Roberts waiting on deck. The Orioles are closing in on getting a home run advantage here at home. With that home run by Davis now, the Orioles have hit 73 here at home and have given up 74. They're finally on the verge of getting the advantage here at Camden Yards in the long ball. 2-2 delivery, and a swing and a foul tip. Keeps it alive at 2-2.
Steady dose of sliders here to Ryan Flaherty. Got away with that one as it hung in the middle third of the plate, or inner third.
Two. Hardy at first, waiting it out, and again outside with it. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Wright does not appear to have a pitch against left-handers to come in on him with.
No, the fastball. He's got a fastball. He does have a sinking fastball, two-seamer. We haven't seen it yet.
3-2, runner will be going. Carter will still hold him even with a left-handed batter up. 3-2 delivery, runner goes, a chopper. And Hardy will be retired. Corporan with a nice play, but Chris Davis with a bigger crush as he delivered yet another home run the other way. That is his 8th home run in July. Puts the Orioles up.
ace tonight. Altuve delivers the big single, scoring 2 in the 3rd inning with the bases loaded. But VR, very exciting play in baseball. Able to steal home. That was in the 3rd inning as well. J.J. Hardy, 3 walks lead to the bases loaded, and he picks up a big single to score 2. But then Crush Davis in the 6th picks up a big 2-run home run. Put the Orioles back on top. Take a look at the starting pitcher comparison. Harrell out after 5 1/3. Only gave up 2 hits, but 5 base on balls. All of those led to runs. Wei-Yin Chen's pitched exceptionally well. 6 innings, 5 hits to this point, 3 earned runs. Just the 1 bad inning. And he's still in the ballgame. Remember, Geico saving people money on more than just car insurance.
So Chen goes to the 7th inning with the 1-run lead. Barnes will go after the pitch, and it's quickly 0-2. Chen trying to continue what the Orioles starters have been doing over the last 15 games. Orioles are 9-6, and their starters are 9-5 with a 3.61 ERA. The starters have done what they needed to do, and that was pick the pace up. Did he go? No. And Chen trying to follow along, doing that here in this game. The Orioles in his starts have 6 wins and 5 losses on the year, and ball games started by Wei-Yin Chen. 1-2 delivery on the way, and a ground ball to second. Roberts right at him. 1 away, 7th inning. Be in your seats by 6:30 on Friday night as former O's second baseman Roberto Alomar is inducted into the Orioles Hall of Fame. Don't miss special pregame ceremonies before the Oriole Mariners 7:05 game honoring Alomar and former baseball executive Don Preece as they take their places in the Orioles Hall. Good seats remain but are going fast to get yours. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. And a pitch taken for a strike. Matt Dominguez single scored in the 3rd inning and is struck out. 2 RBIs by Altuve. The stolen base at home by VR, accounting for the other run, all of them coming in that 3rd. And the Orioles answering with a couple runs in the 4th inning on the Hardy 2 RBI single, and then the 2-run homer by Davis. 0-2 count. And Dominguez will take the pitch up high, 1-2. Chen moving in on that 100 pitch mark here in this inning. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and that'll be up high, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. Dominguez, a leader in RBIs, 52 for this ball club. And that one in the air down the line. Markakis over with room, and he puts it away in fair territory. 2 down here in the 7th. Register for the Casey Cares 5K at Camden Yards with Orioles outfielder Nick Markakis, benefiting critically ill children. Just visit CaseyCares5K.org for information and to register. Robbie Grossman coming up. Grossman has 2 singles and a run scored. Good job. The number 9 hole for the left fielder. He will take it for a strike. Grossman hitting .308 right-handed and a .170 left-handed. And the pitch away to him. 1-1. Grossman recalled from their AAA ball club on Saturday. J.D. Martinez, their outfielder, injured on the DL. Martinez had been a regular out in left field this year. The second stint that Grossman's had here came up in April with the ball club as well. Fans wanting the K. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chen tried to sneak that fastball by Grossman after a changeup the pitch before. A real good pitch at 82 miles an hour. Just missed that outside corner.
2-2 delivery. hacked at and fouled off. Holds the count at 2-2. Red Sox a big lead over Seattle tonight at Fenway. There's the scoreboard watching, and the chase goes on through the next 2 months. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Whoa. Ipsula would have been proud. That was a floater.
Yeah, it was. He tried to really slow things down there and catch Grossman off guard and off balance. 70-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
3-2. That'll go down the line and right. Markakis will not have a play on this one. Rolls into the corner into foul territory, and that will be a double as Nick gets it back in. So what a night for Grossman. 2 singles and a double, 3 for 3. This one coming with 2 down. And he represents the potential tying run of the ball game. Hit number 6 for the Astros.
Yeah, Wei and Chen really kind of threw him everything in the book. Good job of working the count to 3-2 and then just slapping that fastball the other way. See Wei and Chen's pitch total up to 105 now.
So one of the youngsters we've talked about trying to make his presence known comes to the plate. Villar has had a single, 1 for 2, sacrifice, stole home in the 3rd inning. He has started all 8 games since being recalled on July 22. 2 down here, grounded to 3rd. Machado thought about tagging, will make the play over at first base to get the out. 7th-inning stretch time here at Camden Yards as the Orioles have a 1-run lead. Against the Astros, Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick with you. Isn't it nice to be on the Armed Forces Network carrying our ball games around the world to all the service people?
It sure is, of course. I mean, they enjoy Orioles baseball and enjoy baseball in general.
It's really a great treat to be able to do that. And we hear from the men and women overseas who get the opportunity. It's one of the things that brings them closer to home.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're obviously protecting our country overseas and abroad, and to get a chance, obviously, to feel like they're back home and enjoying Major League Baseball, I think, is a special treat. And
a special treat for us to be able to bring it to you. And the Orioles hoping to make the drive here, Mike, as you can't afford to get any further behind than what they are, really. I mean, you got to be careful when you get to 5 games at this point of the season.
Yeah, you sure do. But if they continue to get great pitching performances like what Wei and Chen's doing tonight, they're definitely going to stay in the hunt through the rest of the way in this season. But yeah, you can't afford to lose or fall too many games behind. There's just too many teams chasing that wild card spot, and obviously the Orioles want to win the East, and Rays are red hot. Of course, Boston Red Sox don't look like they're going to give in easy either.
And the Yankees keep hanging in there somehow. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery, Brian Roberts, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Brian turned around here against the left-hander. Right came on to work and get the final out in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Bryant. strikeout, and he is flied out. 1-2 delivery on the way inside and got him. That one caught the corner to Brian's dismay, and Wright gets a strikeout.
And Brian didn't like that call one bit. Fastball appeared to be down and in. Brian Roberts. It's firm, and that freezes Brian up, but it is definitely low and in off the plate. You see Brian just shaking his head in disapproval of that one.
One away, Nate McLouth. Orioles lead off batter with an 0 for 3 in the ball game tonight, and that pitch will be in the outside corner. Though the left-hander stays on here with McLouth hitting .267 off the lefties, .300 off righties coming into the game. 0-1 delivery to him, and that will miss. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Manny Machado waiting on deck. Orioles on top in a well-pitched game. Orioles have 4 runs on 2 hits. The Astros have 3 runs on 6 hits. Each team's left 4 on base. Smack to center for a base hit.
Another beautiful swing there from Nate McLouth. Takes that delivery right back up the box.
And obviously at this point, 7th inning, Orioles would like to add runs, but just a 1-run difference. Wright will face Manny Machado. Walked and scored. Has flied out twice. 5 walks surrendered by Lucas Harrell. 3 of them would score. Orioles 6 total walks in the game. And McLouth the threat to go at first. Ball hit high, right field, going back. Maxwell's got room, and he's got it. Talk about being perfectly positioned. He was way over in the power alley. And that's exactly where the ball was hit. 2 down. Join Orioles Reach and the Oriole Advocates for the 2013 Orioles Hall of Fame Luncheon that's coming up Friday at Camden Yards. Celebrate as former O's All-Star Roberto Alomar is honored, along with Herb Armstrong Award winner Don Preves. The proceeds benefit the Oriole Advocates Charitable Foundation. For tickets and complete details, 410-247-2703.
Yeah, I'm going to be inducting Robbie Alomar
Very nice.
into the Orioles Hall of Fame. Yeah, quite an honor for myself, and I think a great treat, obviously, to the Orioles fans. Roberto Alomar, certainly one of the greatest players of all time, and I think for the Orioles to obviously had a chance to watch him play when he was here from '96 through '98. Definitely going to be a great afternoon.
Be a nice day. The luncheon and then the activities at the ballpark before the game. Darren O'Day in the bullpen for the O's. McLouth with 2 down. Markakis up. And Markakis fouls that one outside at third. Nick has drawn a walk and scored. 0 for 2. Still with his 7-game hit streak going. Markakis, opportunity to keep this inning alive with 2 down as Chen working with just that 1-run lead. Take a little help here if he can get it to add to it. Markakis hitting at .270 against the left-handers. And Nate back to the bag. Klaus still up there among the leaders in stolen bases, 25. He's tied with Altuve of Houston for third. Ellsbury and Roger Davis are 1 and 2. There's the 0-2. There he goes. Here's the throw. It's there. And they got him. So McLouth is thrown out. And that will end the inning. The Orioles, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base, 7 complete. Gonzalez will take the mound against Eric Bedard. Our coverage on Masson HD at 6:30 with O's Extra, presented by Geico, followed by our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on Masson.
Take a look at tomorrow's starters. Of course, Miguel Gonzalez has pitched extremely well here at Camden Yards. Is 5-0 with a 3.78 this year. And Eric Bedard, kind of a homecoming. Good pitch with the Orioles back in the day.
And Altuve will lead it off. Davis with a home run that has given the Orioles the lead. He's the DH. Altuve a 2 RBI single. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Chen with a 1-0 delivery. Orioles starters gone the distance, and we're in the 8th. Corporon has thrown out 25% of base stealers this year, and despite a good jump picked up by McLouth in that 7th, he got him to end the inning. And that one is going to miss, and the count goes to 3-0. Chen has walked only 1. That was back in the 3rd inning. Castro. I'm going to believe Altuve's taking all the way here, trying to get a base runner. Puts the bat on his shoulder and takes it. 3-1. Now Altuve will be looking for one. The drive, 3-1 delivery. He's on the outside corner for a strike. 3-2. So Chen comes back on him. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Chen has allowed only one leadoff man on. That was in the 5th inning. Houston did not score. Good crowd on hand for the opener of this 3-game set. 3-2 delivery. Fouled off again.
Wayne Chen doing a nice job of getting back into this count now. Hitting it to 3-2, but Altuve fighting off some tough pitches. Stay alive.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. 3-2 delivery to him, and Altuve up the middle base hit. Boy, there's a quality at bat. So Altuve delivers a single. Going to make it interesting here in the top of the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Astros out hitting the Orioles 7-3, but the Orioles have the 4-3 lead. At the middle of this order, with the DH Castro up 0 for 2 and a walk. Castro against the Orioles this year 2 for 12, 1 home run. The infield at double play depth, holding the runner. Altuve, as we said, the 25 stolen bases, tied with Nate McLouth for 3rd. He's been caught 7 times. Base stealers against Chen, 3 out of 5. Not a lot of running. Ground ball down to first. That'll be foul, and he had Altuve going back to the bag on that delivery.
Take a look at his 11 starts this year. He's averaging 94.4. Season high is 107. Well, he just shattered that tonight at 115. With Wayne Chen a lot of time on the disabled list, so certainly plenty strong enough, well rested. And I think that's a big key for the Orioles here in the second half, having him. And of course, they didn't want him on the disabled list, but he's going to be a lot fresher down the stretch.
And the pitch up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike count. O'Day has been up in the bullpen twice. One ball, 1 strike count. Altuve off first. And Castro takes that up high, and Wieters comes up signaling get that ball down, and then after telling him that, he looks over in the dugout as if to say
might be about time.
Might be about time.
Yeah.
Every manager's great fear. You leave him in for that one too many batters or one extra pitch. 2-1 delivery on the way and grounded foul. He comes back on him though. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I think it's great they're giving him the opportunity to kind of extend himself, see really what he's capable of here, and he's pitched extremely well. Aside from that 3rd inning, really the only inning he had to labor through, he's been very effective against this Astros lineup.
Castro's only had a couple of hits in his last 13 at bats. Leaders setting up away. 2-2 delivery on the way, and he got him. Big time comeback by Chen, and that's strikeout number 9.
And take a look at this fastball. His velocity staying up at 92, and that's at the top of the zone for a big punch out.
So that'll be it for Wei-Yin Chen, but what an hit. 7 1/3 innings in this ball game. 7 hits, a walk, 9 strikeouts.
Evening against the Astros lineup, and since he's come off the disabled list, he has been outstanding for the Orioles. This will be his 4th straight quality start, and he had it working once again. Great fastball location, a couple strikeouts there with a fastball, another one there just painting the outside corner, mixing in just enough off-speed pitches. But every outing it just seems like his fastball is the pitch, and once again he's been able to locate it in and out. He gives way to Darren O'Day now. Comes in relief to face Carter.
Runner on at first base and 1 out. And that is Altuve, the base stealer over there.
Take a look at Darren O'Day's numbers on the year. This will be his 48th game. 2.20 earned run average, 46 strikeouts in 45 innings, and just 11 base on balls. Another solid year for Darren O'Day.
Carter, the 0 for 3. And will foul it. Against Houston, O'Day appeared in 1 game in Houston. He worked an inning and 2/3, no runs on 1 hit, and he had a couple of strikeouts in that ball game against the Astros. 0-1 count and 1 down. Orioles put a little infield shift on against the right-hander, moving Roberts over towards second base. That right side wide open between first and second. The 0-1 delivery, and that's there for a strike. There's Carter with the 19 home runs and the 51 batted in, but also those strikeouts we talked about, including 1 in this game. Club leader in home runs, in runs scored, and second in RBIs in the ball club. Chen watching O'Day, trying to protect the 1-run lead. And Carter chases one away.
That's about as good as you're going to get right there. Darren O'Day just painting that slider. That slider shows itself a whole way across the plate, and Carter thinking he's going to be able to get to it. Look at the late bend on the end. Ends up being about 6 inches off the plate, right into Matt Wieder's glove. Beautiful pitch by Darren O'Day.
And Brett Wallace will come off the bench to pinch hit for Justin Maxwell, who had an 0 for 3 in the ball game. So the right fielder out of there and getting the left-hander to the plate. Brett Wallace, 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. Recall from the minors on June 25. So many of these players who've been up and down this year. 2 away. Infield shift is on against him. Runner goes. Throw down by Wieters a little bit high and in with a stolen base. Altuve, number 26.
Well, Altuve knows how to steal a base. He gets a real good jump off Darren O'Day. Head first dive just under the tag of J.J. Hardy. J.J. once again in great position. That's pretty darn close play right there. Call goes in his favor.
So the potential tying run at second base with 2 down. And a 1-0 count on Wallace. Wallace hitting .296 with runners in scoring position. Limited chances, 8 for 27. And that pitch is in there for a strike. Now the Astros may be 35 and 69, but not playing that way in this ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Altuve off second, being held by Hardy. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and it's 1-2.
Great pitch from Darren O'Day. That rising fastball, he locates that better than any one of his pitches, I think. Right at the top of the zone. A lot of swing and misses with that one.
There's the 1-2 delivery, and the ball put in the air. Center field, Jones has got it. Wallace is retired, and so are the Astros. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. Chen with a chance to win it. 4-3 O's. $50 to the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. There have been 261 walks, $13,050. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Carter has made the move to left field from first base. Grossman moves from left to right. And Brett Wallace, a pinch hit, will come on to play at first base. And the Orioles will try and add to a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Markakis at the plate when McLeod was caught stealing. He has drawn the walk and scored, popped out and grounded out. So maybe Nick's last chance with the 7-game hit streak that he's got going. Right. Pitch will be taken down low. The left-hander came on in the 6th inning. He's given up only 1 hit. He's a veteran, 28 years old. As Mike mentioned, primarily to get a left-hander out. But he's staying on here. Let's see if he pitches against Jones or not. 1 ball, 1 strike count. That ball in the air to right field near the line. Grossman, who just went out there, will put it away. 1 down. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates. J.J. Hardy has had a big 2 RBI single in the game. Chris Davis, the 2 RBI homer, is 38. And Wei-Yin Chen with a 3-run, 7-hit, 7 1/3 inning performance. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, 31826. So Wright will come out of there. They'll get the right-hander on. Reliever, the left-handed reliever, did a good job as Will Porter goes for the matchups. Presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Orioles on top by a score 4-3, and making his major league debut added to the roster today, Josh Zeid.
Yeah, Josh Zeid, the 43 games in the minor leagues. Nice earned run average of 3.50. He's a reliever down there. 53 strikeouts in 43 2/3 innings. It's 27 base on balls. So obviously Astros going to take a look at some of the younger players they have in their own system, and Zeid certainly one of them. He was in Corpus Christi where he put up those good numbers. He gets a shot here against the heart of the Orioles lineup, Adam Jones.
He's a 26-year-old out of New Haven, Connecticut. Went to Vanderbilt where he pitched for 2 years. Acquired from the Phillies in the Hunter Pence deal. And this will be his first major league toss. Bases are empty, 1 down. Jones 0 for 3, robbed of a hit by the shortstop. Villar's last time up. First ball, center field. Barnes is there. And he's got it. And there are 2 down. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Orioles baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details. Here's Chris Davis. The home run is 38th. Came in the 6th inning, breaking a skein of 10 games where he had not had one.
Well, he was out early today working with Jim Presley going the other way. And look at him stay behind this baseball down in the zone. And sure enough, he drives it the other way. Another opposite field home run for Chris Davis.
Igniting the fans here at Camden Yards. Here's the 1-0 delivery to him. Zide gets it in there for a strike. Zide is one of 8 active players whose last name begins with a Z. You got the Zitos and the Zobras and the Zermans, and you got Zide. Add him to the list. Played the World Baseball Classic for Team Israel. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and chased one up high. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Well, Zide's got a pretty live fastball, 94, 95 miles an hour. That one at the top of the zone. Davis giving chase to it.
Orioles closer Jim Johnson, save situation. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and the fastball, 95 miles an hour, up and in a little bit, and a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Chris Davis would like to catch one of those heaters. Here's the 2-2 delivery to him, and that'll be inside. So Chris takes it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Porter and Showalter. 2 managers watching. The 3-2 is outside for a ball. So Davis is on with the free pass. 2 away here in the 8th. Wieters coming up. He's walked twice and been called out on strikes. Wright worked an inning and 2/3, giving up only 1 hit. Had 1 strikeout, did a good job. Fields out of the bullpen, worked a 1/3 of an inning, a walk and a strikeout. Ball in the air to center field. Barnes has moved over to left, and he'll be there to put it away. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. All right, sports fans, let's hear the click. Buckle them up. We're going to the 9th. It's closer time at Camden Yards. Ball on Masson is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Utah Street on this gorgeous night. The Orioles looking to end their 2-game losing streak, have the 1-run lead as we go to the 9th inning.
Jim Johnson, the closer, and this will be his 51st appearance, 35 saves to lead the American League, 38 strikeouts, 14 base on balls on the year for Johnson. Opponent batting average at .263, lefties .255, and righties a little bit better at .273. Jim Johnson appears to be back on his game. Good fastball velocity, some nice movement down in the zone. Last appearance, the last 7 appearances, 6 saves, 7 hits with 6 strikeouts.
Leads the majors with the 35 saves. Rivera's got 33, and Joe Nathan with 32. And a chance for another one right here. And a swing and a miss as we go to the 9th inning. Corporon, the catcher, has struck out, grounded out, struck out again. Switch hitter with a 1-strike count. The Orioles up by 1. The Orioles 13 and 16 in 1-run games. Houston 14 and 18. In the air to right field, going over Markakis. He's there. 1 down. Time to update you in the voting for our AT&T Player of the Game. The leader, Chris Davis, right now. Still time to text in your vote, A, B, or C. 31826. Results on the O's Extra Post-Game Show. Krause will come on as the pinch hitter. Mark Krause will hit for Barnes, who had an 0 for 3 in the ball game. And again, these are players that have been added to this roster as they've done a lot of juggling of late. 1 down here in the 9th inning. Mark Krause. Matt Dominguez waiting on deck. And the left-hander will take the pitch inside for a ball. Jim Johnson with his 51st appearance, tied for 2nd in appearances in the league. Joel Peralta, Tampa Bay, has had 53. Lindstrom and Johnson have 51. Ground ball to second base. Brian Roberts on the play. 2 down. Game-winning RBI belongs to him for the moment. His 38th home run, 6th inning, gave the Orioles the lead. 24,904. 24,094 on their feet. Dominguez will take the pitch down low for a ball. Johnson picked up 2 saves. The 2 wins the Orioles had in Houston, he had a save in each of them, working an inning in each game, giving up only 1 hit. 1-1. One delivery on the way. Ball down the line. Markakis coming over near the wall and just on the railing and fouled. Ball and 2 strikes. Orioles out hit 7-3 with a 1-run lead, 4-3. Here's the 1-2 delivery. The high off-speed pitch, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, right pitch call, just bad location there.
Here's the 2-2 delivery by Johnson. Balls popped up and foul. Orioles trying to even up their record for this month. They are 11 and 12 at the moment. Houston 5 and 17. The Orioles get 1 more shot at July tomorrow. Two-2 delivery. Misses down low. Full count, 3-2. 3-2 delivery. Chopper back to the bow. Johnson's got it. Ball game over. And the Orioles have a 4-3 win. Chris Davis, the homer, the game-winning RBI. Wei-Yin Chen gets the win. He is 6-3. Lucas Harrell takes the loss. He is 5-11. Jim Johnson is 36 save and 42 chances. O's win.